Welcome to the AI-powered marketing show, where we investigate and explore the intersection of artificial intelligence with cutting-edge modern digital marketing strategies. If you are a digital marketer, entrepreneur, tech enthusiast, or small business owner, or just an AI nerd like myself, you are in the right place. This is the first episode of the 2025 year, and I want to wish everyone a happy new year and a blessed 2025. One of my commitments for 2025 is to focus more on making AI available to everyone. Now, in my space, I want to help as many beginners, small business owners, especially in making AI available to them. But on a much broader scale, I believe that AI should be available to everyone. And I'm concerned that there are certain segments of our society and certain segments of our world that are not going to benefit from the power of AI and advanced automations. So today I have an amazing guest on, and her name is Victoria Pearson, and she is the founder and CEO of Grokly ME. Grokly ME is a learning platform that right now, for the most part, is free. Eventually, I'm sure that they're going to have some paid courses, but the concept for Victoria came out of her passion for making AI available to everyone. So, without further ado, please help me in welcoming to the show Victoria Pearson.
Welcome to the digital marketing revolution. This is the AI-powered marketing show, where the future of marketing is not just imagined, it's already here. Are you an entrepreneur, a digital marketer, or a tech enthusiast? Then you're in the right place. Every day, we explore the cutting-edge tools that help you manifest and monetize your expertise through the power of funnel hubs supercharged with artificial intelligence. Unlock the secrets of turning your expertise into a digital powerhouse. From actionable insights to transformative strategies, we've got you covered. Now, let's dive into the world where AI meets marketing, where ideas meet execution, and where you meet success. Your journey to marketing mastery starts here. Here's your host, Keith Bell, bringing the future of marketing to you today.
Hey, everybody, join me welcoming Victoria to the show. Hello, Victoria.
Hello, Keith.
How are things out there in sunny California?
Things in sunny California are great. I will say that for weather wimps, typically people in Los Angeles are weather wimps. It's really cold for us when it starts dipping down into the 50s and the 40s, but it's beautiful outside. It's sunny, and actually this past weekend it's been in the mid to high 70s.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit ahead of time, and one of the things that I'm going to try this new tactic here is you're going to be a guinea pig, and you have so graciously agreed. I'm going to start asking this of all my guests. So if you could go back in time, back in history, and meet anyone, either a historical figure or someone that has made a dramatic impact on your life, who would that be and why?
So that person for me would be a great grandparent, maybe 4 times removed, 3 to 4 times removed, for a few reasons. One, as an African American, my family history and legacy has been lost due to slavery in America. And I think that one thing that's really missing for a lot of African Americans, I won't speak for everyone, but a lot of the people that I know, is that sense of wanting to know. And so when you meet someone in the United States or of European ancestry who can talk about their relatives, 6 generations or 8 generations ago, it leaves you with a feeling of loss. All of that generational knowledge that gets passed down, culture, customs, family royalty, for example, family wealth, education, just how my ancestors over time aggregated the stories from their ancestors and pass that down to future generations to say, this is what you eat, this is how we take care of the land, or this is how we build houses, or this is how we build machines, or this is who I was as a person. These were our challenges, these were our successes. So those things are missing. And as you can imagine, I mean, adopted people very much have that same sense of longing and wanting to know. And if you can imagine that same feeling being passed down from generation to generation, because there's a lack of knowledge and a lack of history, because our families and our history were broken and stolen from us.
Yeah, I was just going to ask how much of an impact did um, poor record keeping, or actually not even poor record keeping, like a lack of a concern for, I mean, the record keeping they kept was, this is how much I sold this slave for, and this is who I sold them to. And it really, I think we talked a little bit about the fact that I'm a history buff. Um, and I find that history is written by people with white skin, and they don't really have a really good solid foundation of what happened with African Americans in this country. So that's a really good one. So this is your
You
great?
know,
Did you say great
three
great?
generations, four generations. I mean, just back. I was fortunate to, my grandparents lived to be quite old. My great grandparents on my mother's side, my maternal great grandparents, through her mother, also lived to be very old. I mean, I think they passed away when I was in middle school. So people in our family are long lived, but it's broken. I mean, the thing to remember, I think, is that I think in the United States, especially, African Americans tend to be viewed as a monolith. And it'd be comparable to expecting everyone of European descent to be the same, right? Based upon their skin color, or just all white people in general. And so we're all different. We look different. Certainly through slavery, we've developed common culture, if you will, but it's as diverse as it is common. So there's just a lot of lost information. And my uncle Thomas has been the keeper of the genealogy in our family. Have a very large family on my mother's side. There were 11 children, so you can imagine. My grandfather, my mother's father, there were 18 children. But they worked as sharecroppers and indentured servants, if you will. But the history to our motherland, to my country of origin, and the continent from which, frankly, we all come from, uh, is lost.
Did you figure out where, like in terms of where you're from, where your family's from originally?
Uh,
Did you do that, like the DNA testing or anything like that?
yes, so predominantly from Mali,
Oh, okay.
which is where my father was from. I did not have the benefit of knowing my birth father. I've done research over the last 20 years, casually when the bug hits me, trying to find my family in Mali, but I have not been successful in that pursuit.
Wow, I mean that's a powerful story. I mean, um, I'm a big fan of history, but I'm a big fan of getting history right. And there's parts of history that we need to talk about, and education. And I think AI, and I'm going to kind of use this as a segue here. AI is going to open up and transform education, and like you said, it's transforming everything. It's transforming everything. But you and I share a very similar passion in this. We want to democratize the availability of AI to everyone. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about your educational background, what um, you've got a really diverse background.
I do. So when you look on social media, some people say ADHD isn't real; it's made up. Um, I'm,
I'm with you, girl.
but
I'm there.
I am in that category of ADHD. Even if it's made up, all of those symptoms, I have them. So for me, um, I'm always into something and I'm always battling with the next shiny object and going down a new rabbit hole. And so for someone like myself, AI is the holy
Oh,
grail, right?
oh my
It's,
Lord.
it's like I always say, I should have been a librarian because I love information and I love learning new things, even for no particular purpose. Although oftentimes it all kind of comes around and connects in my head. But AI is something that for me has changed the game. And I've been in the tech game on and off for a while. I'm also 61 years old, not ashamed, proud of it. And AI has really been the single greatest thing that has enabled me to actually launch my site. I could not have done it without AI. And frankly, I struggle a little bit with going down the deep rabbit hole of AI on my platform. Like in the past week, I think I've made 50 new courses. Most of them are AI centric, but the reality is AI touches everything, right? And whatever it's not touching, it soon will. So whether you're a teacher, you're a CEO, or you're a contractor and you build residential homes, AI will impact your life and your industry. And frankly, we all interact with AI on a daily basis. It's just that now that it's been democratized, the opportunity for the playing field to become level so that other people can in essence do the same types of things, offer the same types of services and products, and have access to the same technology, even if it's building it themselves with no code apps. It's changed everything. And AI has enabled me to launch Grokly in a way that I just couldn't have done without hundreds of thousands of dollars previous to the last couple years.
Yeah, you would. I right now, as you're talking, I'm like, man, I can so relate to this because I am a person that was diagnosed officially on the books with ADHD. I have been treated for it for over 35 years. It's probably why I was such a good police officer because um, nothing was ever the same. Like every day was a new adventure for me. And for the last 5 years, I've run a digital marketing agency on the side, and I've struggled with what is funnelosophy and what's our identity and what are we all about. And when AI came out, it was like, it was like, whoa.
I love
It
it.
was like, it was like, but one thing I could relate to is it helped me design the frameworks for what my company is now. It helped me to organize myself in a way. Is that kind of like the similar experience that you had?
Absolutely. So for me, the challenge was one, staying on task and staying focused, which I think I'll just die that way. I don't think I'll ever be quite focused or on task the way that I should be. Maybe AI will in the future, or AGI will help me with that. But I think that it's been very helpful from the perspective of bringing everything together in a cohesive way. And so my mind has all these ideas about different things that I want to do that are adjacent to Grokly, and some are completely unrelated to Grokly. But many of the ideas that I've had, I've been able to um, synthesize them and have AI spit them out in a way that's organized and logical and makes sense because it's
Which is something you and I need.
I
We need that.
definitely.
We need that structure because um, I think being a person with ADHD, we have such a massive amount of creativity in our brains, and we're just constantly thinking of new things. And AI, just gives you that way to like structure it and organize it. Are you familiar with Notion?
Yes, but I do not use Notion.
Okay,
I am familiar.
I use Notion mainly because to keep things organized and structured, for me.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that both you and I probably share is that we've throughout life had to set up adaptation systems to organize ourselves
Yeah,
constantly.
when people look at my work environment and my computer, I always have 80 to 100 tabs open, and it's just the way that I work. I mean, I have a million notebooks, right? This one's AI automations. It I guess I reached a point where I stopped trying to fight it and do it the way, normal people do it, neurotypicals, if you will, and really just try to adapt my own way. Like, I write everything down. I'm just a pen to paper girl. I've got papers, notebooks. It's all arranged. I buy three whole punch printer paper so I can write and just put it in my notebooks. Got a million notebooks. They all have labels. It just works for me. But AI has enabled me to keep more balls in the air, I think. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Yeah,
But I just have
Sp-
more balls in the air. So
spinning more plates.
yeah, I love AI. Like, I'm an AI freak. My friends, even my children, I have two young children. My son went to UPenn, by the way, in Philly. Um, and I got them up to speed on AI, right? Because I've been using it even before ChatGPT came out, right? There were other AI
Yeah,
tools. And
yeah,
I was sending them messages. They thought I was crazy. And I kept telling them, ChatGPT, check this out, check this out. And they're kind of purists, they're highly educated, critical thinkers. They can do it all. But eventually they got on board. And now there's almost not a day that goes by that my daughter doesn't say, thank God you you got me using AI as early as you did. Thank God. So
yeah,
yeah, I love AI.
yeah. I We could probably have an entire conversation about like how AI has transformed our lives, but I want to talk to you about Grokly because I jumped on the platform and signed up, and the breadth and depth of courses that you have on there for you know advancing your career skills, with AI and things like that. Talk to me a little bit about like what was the impetus behind you starting this company?
So, Grokly was initially conceived as an e learning platform to educate the incarcerated and the formerly incarcerated. That was the original idea, and that is still the
Mm-hmm.
idea. Um, when AI just exploded a couple of years ago, basically, I would say the launch of ChatGPT kind of opened the floodgates. Um, I couldn't help but think of someone who's incarcerated. And God forbid if that person has been incarcerated for, I don't know, 2 decades, and coming into society, reintegrating back into society and trying to get their wits about them. And so, I mean, I thought about the challenges that incarcerated people face also during incarceration and post incarceration for a number of years, but it all just kind of came together with the AI. And I thought, you know what? It's not fair, right? We already disregard people with felony records and arrest records and convictions. Um, and we throw them aside. And so I thought, the average person is struggling to maintain themselves in this job market with a college degree, work experience. They're not African American, right? They're predominantly other races, and they're having a tough time. And so I thought, if you fall into the category of someone who's unfortunate, whether it was your own fault or not, you were wrongly incarcerated, to come out into the world and be expected to pay restitution, find a place to live and pay rent and all of the other things that we do, and find gainful employment, although there really isn't much gainful employment, right? So in my mind, I thought probably most of these people, if they're going to have a fighting chance, there are only so many state jobs in California for ex-felons. They're going to need to be self-employed. And so I thought about things that I could teach them that would be good solopreneur, t-shirt printing, or if someone's good with computers, they could teach a computer literacy class, or any number of other gigs that you see online, people talking about. I made classes for many, many of those things, and then it just started expanding. I started making the courses about the topics that I wanted to learn. So I probably read, I don't know, 50 to 100 different blog articles every day. Just, skimming them, reading, just getting as much information as I can. It's my ADD brain. So I would come across something that was interesting that I wanted to learn. And I was building this business, so I still needed to learn things about, marketing and the e-learning industry and the whole thing. How to write a course syllabus and all of those things. So I would make these courses for myself, just put them on the platform. And I think, you know what, if I want to know this, there's probably at least, 500,000 other people in the world who also want to know it. So I started making these courses, and the intention was to build the platform, learn these other topics myself, and then continue to build my business. What actually happened was, as I was building the platform and building the business and realizing how much I didn't know, although I've started and owned businesses, moderately successful, abject failures for decades, right? And I've worked in tech, but this was the first tech company I was building from the ground up. So I've got all these courses for all these things that I want to learn. I create the first thing that I made for the formerly incarcerated and the incarcerated was a curriculum for reintegration. So I did research. What are their challenges? There's all kinds of not-for-profit organization and blogs and law enforcement related programs, reading all these things. And I came up with 30 plus courses that address everything from their mental health to dealing with anger, communicating with a significant other, a spouse, communicating with your children, developing relationships in the community, looking for a job, all of those things. And so I developed those. I'm developing all these other courses. And then I ran into some roadblocks trying to get people interested in my program. They're like, well, you can come into the prisons and you can teach. And you have to do that at your own cost, and you have to do that for free, basically. Well, I didn't. I was self-funded. And I've spent many thousands of dollars because I eventually hired people. And so that didn't sit well with me, that the people who are responsible for the incarcerated and the formerly incarcerated weren't really willing to help, although the idea of incarcerating someone is to have them pay their penance to society and to also prepare them to integrate back into society. And that just doesn't happen. You'll hear about the 1 or 2 or 3 or handful of, college courses and programs. California has several, but it's available to such a small number of incarcerated persons that it's almost a joke and an insult to the intelligence of people who are actually trying to do something. So I built all these other courses, and I thought, I want to democratize education. And my goal was to never charge anything to the incarcerated and formerly incarcerated, that would be free. I thought the prisons would pay me to bring that. Not a lot of money, but some money, right? Because it costs money to maintain that. So I thought, okay, I need to sell the other courses to the general public in order to generate the revenue that I need to deliver on my mission. And so that's how it just kind of exploded into all manners of topics, everything from the Wim Hof method to pranayama yoga and mindfulness and wellness. And, you know, if I come across something, for example, an article on a particular health journal that is beneficial to people commonly, but it takes a while for health journal research results to kind of filter down to the general public, I'll make a course about that. And so it just grew like that. So we now have over 800 courses, you know, several hundred users. I have not done any advertising. It's only been kind of word of mouth, soft launch. We turned on an ad campaign back in November just to kind of see if it was working properly. And it was on for just a few hours. It got us a lot of traffic. We turned it back off. So at this point in the journey, we're looking for a couple of things. We're looking for people, anyone, to come in and take the courses, give us feedback, and learn, right? There are a lot of people out there that can't afford Coursera or Udemy. So the courses are free. They won't be free forever. I will have to charge for them eventually, but right now they're free. You want to learn everything about AI, building your own agents, the basics of AI, technology literacy, you know, financial literacy, you name it, it's there. Even I have a few courses on navigating the U.S. immigration system for would-be immigrants who are going to apply. So that's where we are. We are excited. We're actively looking for community partners who serve underserved communities. It does not have to just be the incarcerated and formerly incarcerated persons. It can be people who serve people who are financially in a difficult situation. It can be people who serve the homeless population. I actually created some curriculum for people who are unhoused, for unhoused persons. I don't have a partner there, but I need partners in the community who will help me to democratize education. And don't worry about the cost up front. Obviously, if an organization has a lot of funding, then they can in turn, you know, pay for some of what I provide, but you don't need funding to take advantage of what I provide. I will set things up for not-for-profits. I will even create custom curriculum. So if there are not-for-profit organizations out there that serve a very unique demographic, I can create the curriculum that serves your demographic in partnership with you. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to democratize education. There are a lot of AI courses there for your constituency as well to take advantage of. And even if you said, hey, Victoria, make this course for me, I think this is, I would make the course and put it on the platform for you. That's how committed I am to democratizing education for all.
Well, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to the education director at my school and see if I can hook you two up so that maybe you can develop some courses for young people between the ages of, I guess if you're ninth grade, you're what, 15, 14 in that age,
Yeah.
through high school, because I think there's so much, like when I discovered AI, it opened up parts of my brain that I didn't really like. I hated math. I couldn't stand math, but I found an AI GPT on ChatGPT that explained mathematics in a way that I could relate to. And I just thought, like, if I struggled my whole life with math. somebody at my school with the kids that they work with could help them, some of the biggest struggles they have are with reading. And I asked the question one day, just out of curiosity. I said, how much does having poor reading skills affect other areas of learning for the kids? And, they were like, first of all, they looked at me like, were you stupid? Like, I was just asking out of curiosity. And they said, reading's like, if they can't read, they can't learn. So that's at the school I work at. Reading is such an integral part of everything that they do. Reading support and
Hey, digital marketers, entrepreneurs, and tech enthusiasts. Ready to elevate your AI game? Check out the AI-powered marketer newsletter from Keith Bell, host of the AI-powered marketing show. The AI-powered marketer newsletter is your go-to resource, packed with actionable insights, cutting-edge tools, and the latest news in AI and digital marketing. Whether you're optimizing sales funnels, exploring new AI strategies, or staying ahead of industry trends, this newsletter has you covered. Don't miss out on the chance to supercharge your marketing efforts. Subscribe now. Just click the link in the show notes to sign up today, and remember, the future of marketing is here and it's powered by AI. See you in the newsletter.
But getting back to AI, I just think that it would open up parts of their brains like it did for me, and maybe, get them thinking creatively. Like, I never thought of myself as a creative person. So, but I was checking out some of your courses. You have some like diverse courses on there. Like, not everything is stuff that I would be interested in, but there was stuff that, I thought was pretty interesting. I like the fact that, they're like sit at your own pace. I can drink a cup of coffee and, watch and learn, because I'm kind of a knowledge geek. I like to learn new things, and you know what else I found about AI is that if I don't know the answer to something, I've got somebody I can ask. It's like, if I don't know what a word means, I can ask somebody.
Absolutely.
So I want to share a quick story with you. So I was in the, I guess it's the curriculum development office in our school, and there's this girl. She's like, she's on ChatGPT, and she's trying to work out her fourth grade curriculum for the year, and like you could see the sweat pouring off her brow. And I said to her, I said, are you using ChatGPT? She says, yeah, and she's using it, the way we all do when we first start, just ask it a question, get an answer, ask a question, get an answer. So I went out to my car and I created in 5 minutes a super prompt that made her entire year's curriculum based on, the criteria. Like, I asked her questions, not telling her what I was going to do. I created this prompt and I emailed it to her, and I said, put this in ChatGPT and fill in these two blanks. And she was like, oh my God. Like, her brain exploded. But I just think that, AI is so powerful. Like, there's so many ways that, it can use. I also talk a lot about on my podcast that, some of the evil intentions that people can have, but, I think the good far outweighs the bad. There's still good people in this world like you. Now, have you gotten into any prisons?
No, I have not gotten into any prisons. I developed a list. I put together a proposal. I communicated with state prisons local to Los Angeles. I put together a proposal that I will be sending out not just to prisons and jails in California, but all over the country, because there are some states doing really interesting progressive things
Mm-hmm.
with post-incarceration programs and trying to get people on their feet. So no, not yet, not in any prisons or jails, but we're new in 2025, and this is really just new for me. It took me, I would say I've been noodling with the idea for 2 years. Uh, It took me about almost a year to kind of try different e-learning solutions. And pretty much as of early this year, I had tried all of them. I'm sure there are new ones now on the market, but I really needed something that was um, a low labor involvement, because it's just me plus, 4 to 8 contractors at any, depending on what I'm doing. And so it costs money. I mean, you have to pay people. So I really wanted something that I could do it on my own. I could build the platform. And what I ended up doing was looking at all the options, including the likes of Kajabi, which don't meet my needs, and then putting together different technologies and creating the platform. So I'm able now, I've automated a lot in terms of building the courses and my ICP. I'm really good at prompting, like an expert. I've taught seminars on it, but I have prompts that will generate, you know, very well written blog posts or social media posts, and not just generic. I mean, really brand specific in my voice. And the same thing with my courses, right? So I do some research, I come up with my basic ideas, and because of the way that I've built my prompts, in both ChatGPT and Claude. I have 2 Claude accounts and one on ChatGPT. And I can spit it out and then use AI to build the course and fine tune it, tweak it a little bit, take this module out, put that module in, and then we're off to the races. So I've gotten that down. Couldn't have done it without AI. Again, there are a lot of solutions out there for building courses in schools and that sort of thing, but I've pretty much tried them all, and I've got the best solution.
Now, have you built any of your own GPTs yet in ChatGPT?
It's funny, when they first released that feature, I did. I built one that was a snarky um, cleaning professional. The bot was somebody who knows about cleaning, and but they were snarky. And so you ask a question like, "Oh, there's blood on my boyfriend's shirt. How do I get it out?" So it would give you an answer. And then I was trying to make it recommend Amazon products, but I don't know what it does now, but back then it wouldn't do it, because I was trying to, of course, I'm off to the races on another idea. I was trying to figure out how to just use my Amazon affiliate codes in this GPT. And it's funny, and I mean, it gave you good advice. That was pretty much the extent of it. I built a few more that were just kind of more funny than purposeful. But in essence, in Claude, when you make a project, that's what you're doing, is you're building a private GPT, if you will. And so, I'm not, I'll teach people how to prompt, and everything I know about prompting, but I keep my prompts private, because that's my superpower. My prompts are my business. So there are plenty of YouTube channels where they give away their prompts. I just don't. I'll build prompts for money, and I've done that, but I'm not giving my prompts away.
Yeah, you got to keep your own stuff. Like I have my own prompts that they stay in house with me. They don't go anywhere else, and I sell prompts as well. Um, I have to tell you a funny story. I created, so for one of my clients, or it was a possible client I was trying to get, was a men's hair um, restoration program out in San Diego. I created a prompt from 3 pictures, a front-facing shot, a top, and a back of a man to tell them their Norwood Hamilton hair loss scale, because that's the scale that they use in their analysis of hair loss. And of course, I used myself only to find out that I was like on the worst, possible level that I could be at. Then I started looking at my hair in the mirror. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm losing my hair on top. But I created a GPT to do that. And I did it just purely out of like that ADHD thing where you're like, oh, let's see what I can create. I learned more about men's hair loss and how it's evaluated than it's like that was a waste of 4 hours of my life.
Not
But
really, though.
but then I said, you know what? I learned a lot more about hair loss. So I didn't get the client, but I just thought that was interesting to share with you, because it's one of those things like, what can you create with AI? And I thought, you know what? I'm going to try this, see if I can do it. And I actually created a whole, landing page where the person could land to put their pictures. And it was pretty cool. But, Claude is also one of my favorites too. Have you used Perplexity?
Oh, yes. I used Perplexity for several months when it first hit the scene. Their user interface was quite different then than it is now.
Yeah, I've noticed it's changed too. Like now you can make pages, and
Exactly.
you can. I use it for all my research. Like when I was preparing for my interview with you, I ran you through Perplexity, and it pulled up, everything that's public about you. So I use it a lot for research. And again, like if I don't understand a concept, I'll ask a question of Perplexity. Like when I was doing that prompt for the curriculum director, I asked, what's required of, a school curriculum. Just spit everything out. I'm like, I don't know what half of it means, but okay. Okay.
It's
So,
very helpful.
yeah, it's very helpful. Now, I saw you've had some involvement with Harvard and Vanderbilt,
Oh,
or is that
that's my
or is that
daughter.
that's your
My
daughter?
daughter has the same name.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought, usually with the years you can kind of tell. So no, my daughter attended Vanderbilt University and the Military Academy and Harvard Westlake. So that's
Oh yeah.
what you were looking at.
Yeah, West Point was in there too. So
Yes.
I was going to thank you for your service, but you can thank your daughter for your
Well,
service. See, this is
we have a history of service in our family. So my daughter, her dad served, my dad served, my oldest brother, who's passed away, served, my grandfather served, and my great grandfather. So it's a lot of military service, but I'm glad she's out.
yeah.
I'm
It's
anti-war.
I yeah I back when I was younger, I was going to go in the Marine Corps, and my mother slapped me in the head and said, "No, you're not."
Yeah, yeah. No, I
So
mean it's good. West Point is West Point.
yeah.
It's a place that most people could not survive the first few days of. They'd be gone. And I think that she would share with you that the discipline, like it if you're amazing, it takes you to a place in your life that you didn't even know you could go to, because that's how they push you. It's very demanding. So
Well, you have to be pretty amazing. I mean, just to begin with, to go there. So the leaders of our military that are coming out are, you know, it's almost like they're being turbocharged once they go to the military. But I've heard that from others. Who I have a friend whose son went to the Naval Academy, and he was an excellent student, an excellent wrestler. Now he's flying jets.
yeah, Yeah. I mean, one thing I will say that most people don't know, do you remember back, I think it may have been John McCain, but some years ago, we had this debate about whether the military academies recruit. It somehow ended up in
I
political.
I vaguely remember the whole debate about it.
Yeah, well, they do.
Um,
They do. My daughter was recruited to West Point.
yeah,
So that was interesting to find out. And Congressman Adam Schiff, irrespective of your politics, that was our congressman. So it was an honor.
okay. Well, congratulations. So she's when she got out of the military academy, what'd she do?
So she got out of the military academy on disability. So after that, she finished her education at Vanderbilt, and went into management consulting.
Okay.
And she does that now, along with having built this wellness. Both of my kids are entrepreneurs. A, a wellness consulting practice.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they get that entrepreneur spirit from you?
Absolutely, there is no doubt. I mean, their father, my ex, um, I couldn't get him to start a business to save our lives. Just never could.
Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, you have to have very thick skin, and you have to brush off mistakes when you make them, and just say, "Oh well, that's a lesson learned. Something new I learned today." Believe me, I know.
It's
I've,
difficult. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I would say it's the most satisfying feeling for me that I can have, being an entrepreneur and building something, creating something from nothing. But it's filled with anxiety. Like I don't sleep. Partially because of anxiety and partially because of just my mind doesn't shut down. I don't sleep 2 hours a day, or I might be up for 2 days straight or whatever. Um, but I just love it, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And the odd thing is, I've had lots of businesses through my life, through college, as a kid, whatever. Obviously, none of them were extremely successful from a monetary perspective. But I never started a business with that goal of like, oh, I'm trying to build something. I want to be rich. I want to be a billionaire. Like it's obviously we need money, and money makes things happen in our lives and
mhm.
relieves anxiety. But it's really just more about creating something and building something, and ideally, it's something that people will exchange money for. But a lot of times that's not the case. But it doesn't matter because I'm a creator, I'm a builder. Like I taught myself how to build automations. Um, and
What are you using for your automations? Not to interrupt you.
I'm using everything. I kind of hack things together. So I use Claude, I use ChatGPT, I use Vercel, I use V0, I use Lovable, I use what's the one that starts with an R? I forget. I don't like it though. Yeah, and it's just I watch some YouTube videos and then I try it. And then I'm like, well, let me make some little automations for me and my company and what we do, and automating some social media content generation, and automating, emails, and every little thing I can think of, I try to automate it, to the point where I've gotten good enough, and I have teammates. Obviously, I started by hiring somebody who knows automations, but
Hmm.
as a business owner, I really try to, if not know how to do what I'm paying somebody to do, understand it well enough so they can't pull the wool over my eyes. That's how I am. So I'm like,
Yeah.
well, if I'm going to hire somebody to do automations and they tell me it's going to take 3 days or 20 hours or whatever, I need to at least give it a go So I have a sense of it, right? They're a professional. I'm a newcomer. So, maybe it's really only 8 hours worth of work, but they're telling me 20. And you have to understand everything in your business so you don't get taken to the cleaners.
Yeah, and that's the hardest part sometimes as an entrepreneur is how to. It's not the who, it's not the how, it's the who you can hire to take care of things. I have a hard time sometimes letting go of things because I know how I can do it, but I'm getting to the point in my business where I have to hire people out to do stuff for me, and it's like, it's like letting go of your baby. So
It's
I just,
difficult.
yeah, it's just it's hard to let go of, and they're not as passionate about it as you are, and never will be.
It never will be. But the other thing is the excellence, right? So I'm excellent. I've had all sorts of jobs, from high level jobs to low level jobs, working as a valet, right? And I don't say low level in terms of you're not as good if you work that type of job. I meant in terms of skill wise, low skill jobs. And I'm sorry, my computer just unplugged. Do you mind if I just grab the cord? It's right here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I can edit this out.
I apologize for that.
Not a
And
problem.
so, what I find, no matter what the job is that there's a lack of personal standards for quality and excellence. And so, like when I worked in my valet job, which I loved, by the way, I loved working in hospitality. Um, I would say it doesn't matter whether this is your dream job. I don't think it's the dream job of any of us, but it's the job that you have. And the job that you have is the job that gets you to your dream job. And what do I mean by that? I mean, the job that you have is where you develop discipline and excellence and other skills, depending on what the job are, dealing with people and communications. That's what's going to prepare you for your ideal job, because and most of these are young people, right? I'm the old lady, the old black lady. Nobody wants to listen to me. I'm crazy. But, these are like 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. In my opinion, they're kids. And I tell them, the person who can give you your dream job or open the door to that opportunity comes into this hotel on a regular basis. There's a lot of those people who can open your doors. They come here, but guess what? You're not at your best. So when they look, nobody looks at another person and thinks, wow, I wonder, that guy sucks right now at his job, but I wonder if he's a high performer in a job that he really wants. Nobody thinks like that, right? People see you as you are. And so whatever you're doing, then you be the best at that. Because if you can be great at a job that sucks, at a job that you hate, at a job that doesn't pay you enough, then you're prepared when that door opens. Because even if the fairy godmother granted your wish and gave you your dream job tomorrow, you would be fired because you don't have the skills and the discipline and the wherewithal to be excellent, right? Being excellent is irrespective of what you're doing. And so going back to hiring people, what I found is it's very, very difficult to find excellence. Somebody who goes the extra mile every time. I do, right? And that's why I've been fortunate to do the things that I've done, because people have seen me in other jobs completely unrelated being excellent. And they're like, hey, I've got this company. Why don't you come work for me? You would be great running my whatever. Or I have 5,000 global employees and you're literally the best I've ever seen, right? Not even in the context of what they're doing, but in the context of what I'm doing. And so I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back. I'm saying being excellent striving toward it, right? None of us are perfect, but always wanting to be better and do better and deliver better and be more and learn more and upskill and all of those things. That's what drives an entrepreneur. And that's why it's hard for us to let go, because I'm not saying there aren't great people in the world. There are. Look at Apple or Microsoft. But in my position as a little startup, right, I can't hire the very best talent. I have to hire the best that I can afford. And oftentimes the excellence is missing. I have someone on my team who fits that, who's amazing, who is the closest thing to me other than my children that I've come across, and I love her for it. But otherwise, I feel like I'm herding cats.
Yeah, I can relate to that with, people have to be receptive to learning too, and receptive to growth, and receptive to those kinds of thoughts. And since we're around the same age, we have a tendency to go back and say, because I love hearing them say, well, life's tough right now. It is tough. It's always going to be tough, and it's never going to be easy. But I go back to, I'll say, well, I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have a laptop computer growing up. My parents kicked me out the door, go play. When the lights come back on, you can come back home. So it's a generational thing too,
Absolutely.
I want to ask you one more question before we wrap up here. Where do you see your company's future in terms of like your mission and your passion to democratize going forward, like in the next 5-10 years?
I don't imagine my company will be here in 5 years. I believe with the growth of technology, I probably have a 2-year runway before my company's just obsolete. And that's okay. So, where I see myself in the next few years, however long that happens to be, is in every corner of the world where people have an internet connection. I mean, my dream is that, remote villages in Africa, as long as one person has an internet connection, a mobile phone, is to deliver education to primarily women, right? Throughout the world, women tend to be the force that holds families together, that educates others, that determines in what direction the family moves, what type of work the husband does. So I'm really looking to connect with organizations that serve women, especially organizations that are teaching women entrepreneurial skills, how to do a certain thing. Maybe they have certain resources that can be repurposed, and that can generate additional monies for that family or that village, whatever the case may be. That's where I see myself. That's where I want to see myself, touching remote corners of the world and democratizing education and information so that people can self-actualize, so that people can grow their crops, learn how to collect the rainwater that they need, or educate their children in the absence of a formal school, and those children still being able to go off to college someplace.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, how can, if somebody wants to find you, what's the best way to find you?
Info at grokly.me. That's GROKLY.me. My team monitors that inbox, and that's the best way to get in touch with me. And the door is open. Again, if you work with, know of a community-based organization that services a distinct population that could benefit from having either custom curriculum or benefit from the 800 plus courses that are already on my website, let me know. It's really easy for me to do. I can have you up and going in a week or less.
Yeah, absolutely. I am going to talk to the curriculum developer at our school. I'm also going to um, I have over 15,000 contacts on my LinkedIn profile in the law enforcement, correctional facility background. And I think I'm gonna try to hook you up with my friend Jason Keogh, who's in San Diego, that works with the homeless population.
That would be awesome. And also for law enforcement, I feel very strongly about law enforcement because I've had some very unfortunate interactions with them. But it's the law enforcement we have. So I think that as a society, we have to figure out how to strengthen our law enforcement, how to strengthen the tools that they have, because most law enforcement organizations aren't the LAPD with more budget than some militaries of some small countries, right? And they're really struggling. And good people are everywhere, right? There is no
Mm-hmm.
all these people are bad or whatever the case would be. Good people are everywhere, or at least people who have good intentions and maybe don't have the tools. So what I did alongside the curriculum I developed for the incarcerated and formerly incarcerated, I developed a curriculum for law enforcement professionals. I started with the border, BPCA, I think it is, Border Patrol, and whatever their acronym is, the border, because I read so many articles about their poor mental health, having to deal with the horrors of immigration, because they also find lots of dead bodies and dead children and have other traumatic experiences as law enforcement officials that needs to be addressed. So I have a whole curriculum for them as well. So anything law enforcement related, for the family, for kids in that family to understand the work and the stressors of the parents, like, I'm here for it. My objective in life is to make the world better, one interaction at a time. And if I can do that and help law enforcement, by all means, connect me with those people. I will do that.
Yeah, I'll definitely hook you up, because I think one area of training that law enforcement desperately needs is de-escalation and conflict resolution skills. Um, I was fortunate to work in a department where we had a lot of conflict resolution, de-escalation skills. So I was fortunate, but that's not the case in every police department. So I will definitely hook you up with some people. And
Absolutely.
I think your mission is incredible, and I wish you all the success. Hopefully, I can help you in any way possible. So, thank you so much for coming on my show. I really appreciate this. Um, I will, look forward to talking to you in 2 years and see where you're at.
But we'll be in touch before then.
Yes, we will. So, all right.
Thank you, Keith. I appreciate the opportunity to join you on your podcast and to speak to your audience. And you're really amazing, and you're doing great work. We need more people like you out in the world, spreading the good word.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in to the AI Powered Marketing Show, hosted by yours truly, Keith Bell. We hope you found today's episode insightful and full of actionable tips to power up your marketing strategies with AI. Don't forget to visit the website at funnelosophy.com. There you'll find links to our podcast website, as well as a subscription link to the AI Powered Marketer newsletter. Here on our newsletter, you can stay ahead of the curve with the latest trends, tools, and tips delivered straight to your inbox. We'd love to connect with you on social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Join our community of like-minded marketers. Come on by and say hello. Get behind the scenes content, join the conversation, and never miss an update. Until next time, keep innovating, keep iterating, and stay ahead of the curve with the power of AI in your digital marketing efforts. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the AI Powered Marketing Show. Take care.